Okay, welcome back, guys. I literally just did the stream a second ago, announcing my giveaway winners, which is Pierre, um, Divi, and who was the other person? Jonah. I don't really know how to pronounce it. And I'm on TikTok right now doing a prompt with basically I'm asking, why do people undervalue crochet? Okay, so the first reason why I think people undervalue crochet is because they think it is a hobby. And for a lot of people, crochet is a hobby. Knitting is a hobby. Crochet is a hobby. A lot of those sorts of crafts where it's, somebody just, it takes a long time to get a thing done. A lot of people can't make that a living. But for some of us, it is a living and it shouldn't be valued as a hobby because I'm trying to pay my bills. I got really good at it. And then there are a lot of hobbies that are careers, like a painter or somebody that makes jewelry, they make wedding rings and stuff, or somebody that makes clothes and now they making suits, and they're making bigger things. A lot of things are considered hobbies that people need. So I don't really understand the correlation between it being a hobby and it being priced as inexpensive. Not that it should cost an arm and a leg, but it should not cost the same as something that you get from out of Target. Like the correlation that people make for crochet, oh, I could get that from some place that offer slave labor. So you want me to be a slave? You want me to value myself as somebody who does slave work instead of uprooting the whole system that requires a human being be a slave? You rather continue to pay those wages. This is why I don't think that fast fashion will ever go anywhere. I think that we'll always have a fast fashion way to get things done. We'll always have a faster, microwavable way to do a lot of things that should be more important to us. Because what ends up happening is when you don't have anything of value, you purchase a bunch of inexpensive things, and every couple months you're rebuying the cheap stuff that you bought. When you could have, if you weren't so adamant on purchasing the cheap stuff, you could have had the option to get it at a better value. We don't even have those sorts of stores anymore. Like the value of handiwork is gone. We get everything done by a computer, and now this AI stuff is about to take over. But AI can't take over stuff like crochet and knitting and sewing. I also think part of the argument is the gender bias. I think that is mainly seen as domestic labor for women to make hats and scarves and blankets and stuff for their family. So, but my thing is, I'm not your grandma, and your grandma was never making things as cool as I'm doing. Your grandma was never giving art and design. Your grandma was giving, I read this pattern, no shade to people that read patterns, but even then, a lot of patterns today are way cooler than when your grandma was making them. This is not what your grandma was doing. And also, where's your grandma? She's dead. Rest in peace, grandma. Stop bringing her up. um Oh, this is my biggest one, is I wrote a lot of these points down, and I did use Chat GPT to help me out while I'm talking all this shit about doing stuff fast. Um, the time that I spend, I did kind of touch on it a little bit. Fast fashion versus slow fashion. The time that I spend on making a project, it's like it doesn't even matter. Like if people ask at all, they're like, okay, well, don't you like to do it? I do like to do it, and I would have liked to do something else other than what you ordered or what you wanted custom, and you don't want to pay me for it. Or I could have made something to how I want it to be, and I could have made it for myself at the price point that I see necessary, which would have been my time. I have to pay for stuff with my time. And just because you don't want to pay me for my time doesn't mean that that time wasn't spent like that. That time was still spent, and I need my coin for it. Mass production, you can't mass produce designs. And another thing with people wanting things to be so different, so unique, so they don't want stuff like everybody else. They don't want to pay those sorts of prices for it. Inflation is a mug. The times where you can spend $20 on a person and be like, okay, you're good, are long gone. Gone, done, dead, finished. They're not, I don't think they're coming back. Like all of that is over with. The times that we live in. I was literally just having a conversation with somebody where they were like, the stuff that's going on in the outside world don't affect me, but that's just not realistic. Like you can believe that all you want. But if you like, for example, if you own a business, you could say, I'm running my business how I want to run it. Your customers tell you how you get to run your business. Because if your customers are not coming, if you don't have any clientele, any money being made, you have to pivot. That is any smart business owner's thing. If you want to continue in your business, you have to pivot. Every business has to do that. Circuit City had to do it. Best Buy had to do it. Blockbuster could have did it if they knew, how to pivot. They could have turned into an online thing, but they didn't. So I think with the times being how it is, people expect someone who's making something with their hands to be like a mass produced, like a factory almost. They want you to get stuff done. But the gag is we have our own lives that we have to attend to. And until people are spending money with us in droves, we still have to attend to our lives. I can't hire anybody to do I can't outsource any of the work if don't nobody want to pay me what I'm worth. Hello? You want more and don't want to give me nothing. Not even more. You don't want to give me anything. You barely want to give me my money back for the work that I put in. I've had people give me less than $100 and then hound me about their project. That 60, $70 was gone that same day on just my gas tank and maybe like a lunch. That shit been gone. These times is not the same way like how they was. Anything being less than $200 for my work is crazy. The fact that it even takes so long for us to get clientels as artists, and then the one clientele that we do get, they understand that and they want to play in our face. It's so crazy to me. That don't make no sense. Y'all would rather play in the faces of people who are just like you, who just so happen to have a talent because you're so used to doing it to people who are just like you, who have a talent and a lot of money. You're used to seeing the and a lot of money part. I ain't got that part. So y'all just being rude to somebody, to like your next door neighbor, your local artist. It doesn't make any sense. Y'all treat small businesses like they're major corporations and then don't want to pay them major corporation prices. That will never make any sense. I'm so sorry. Uh, a lack of education behind whatever the craft is. And that's not anybody's fault because home education is not a thing. Most people don't know what crochet is. They don't know the difference between crochet and knitting. So they don't know to value um, something that they consider a hobby. Like, you think this is my hobby, but I'm making a living from it. You don't know how to value the time that I put into it. Maybe they think that crochet is just like a piece of fabric or it's partially done. They don't know that you only using a hook and some string and you going stitch by stitch to make a piece, and they think a whole outfit should be less than $60. Bring back the flood. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what else to tell y'all, but like that don't make no sense. You see, I'm making a little sack right now, and this little tiny thing has taken me about 20 minutes. This tiny little thing. How long you think something like this took me? This is a full-blown head to ankles cardigan with a hood. And somebody will be like, "Oh, $100. That seems fair." Maybe out the store. Like that's the point that I'm getting at. A lot of people don't understand the transition. Like we're learning that slow fashion is like a newer thing because of TikTok and people wanting to see things being developed from scratch. That is perfectly fine. But now that we educating y'all, the answer back to us not wanting scraps is crazy. Like that's okay. I also feel like crochet could be described as a fine art because not every art form is disrespected. Some art is seen as fine art, some is like the artist is a master of their craft, and therefore anything from them is expected to be tens of thousands of dollars. I need y'all to understand. Painters getting like 40, 50, 60, 100, 200, $300,000 from a painting that's going to sit on the wall. And I'm not saying that they don't deserve it. Absolutely. Some painters are outstanding. That's probably the other craft that I just give all my respect to. Probably painting and music because it's just the both of them is just hard. Like I got some rhythm, but to put a song together is crazy. Anyway, some painters are considered fine artists and they put their stuff in museums, high-end museums. Please tell me, why is it that crochet can't be seen that way? Like, why can't crochet be seen as a fine art? If somebody put on, like, I've seen some pieces, maybe not necessarily, well, no, even with this yarn, because I've seen some pieces, I was going to say, with thin, tiny little threads that's put together, and it looks like it was a tapestry. I mean, sometimes I guess it is, but you know what I mean, like the actual craft of tapestry where you get something like this. This is a loom. So I would string it and then put a design, like weave a design through it. I've seen some crochet pieces that look like it was done that way. And I'm so confused why that wouldn't be able to be considered fine art. Like those really wispy, tiny little crochet projects, especially. I guess I'm more impressed by them because I know what went into the work and I know I wouldn't do it. I'm not going to. I just have a lot of respect for it, and I'm perplexed why and how we get the rest of the world to have the same level of respect. But what I do notice is whenever there's a male crochet artist, he has a lot of followers and he's able to make more attention. Like he got more attention on him because he's a man and he's crocheting, and people are usually impressed or concerned or confused. Like, are you really? I don't really know what that is. And I don't know, I might be hating a little bit because I've been doing this for so many years, and people are, their response isn't usually, "Oh my God, what?" until they see my stuff. But they don't have that reaction to learning that I crochet. They have that reaction to the things that I crocheted and still don't want to pay me my money. So for example, this dress behind me, this green one, might have took me 3 days just because I just did not feel like doing it every day. I didn't feel like doing it. So it took me a longer time than it normally would have. And the thing is, even though this took me 3 days, for somebody who's just now starting out or who does not crochet at all, they will have to learn this stitch. They will have to learn the stitch up there. They will have to learn the stitch that I did here. I don't feel like taking it off the hanger. But they will have to learn all of them individual stitches and how I put it together. And I did some creative stuff with it. They will have to learn all of that stuff. And that takes years. So what you're really paying me for is what I know already, my skill that I'm already at. like you will for a painter or you will for a doctor or a teacher. You pay them for the skill level that they've attained. So the fact that I'm still being looked at to give prices of somebody who just now started out and is not even making their own design, so you probably don't see what you ordered, like you got it custom made, except they stole the design from Fashion Nova. So now either way, you're gonna see the same outfit that you could have bought for $28. You spent That's why you only want to pay like $60 because you feel like $60 is overpriced because you would have spent $28 with Fashion Nova on a design that they stole. But I'm here to tell you that that is not the case for every crochet artist that ever was and ever will be. That is just not always the case. We don't all reuse patterns that we've seen somebody else do for that reason. I want my prices to be higher. I don't think that I'm better than anybody else. I see a lot of crochet stuff and I'll probably remake it for myself, but I'm not going to add it to my website and act like it's something that I made. Even though I did make it with my two hands, I didn't make it. That it just feels different. It feels better to say, oh, those people got that design from me rather than, oh, they also stole that design that I stole. Generational misconceptions. Some associate crochet with grandma crafts. Yeah. Invisible cultural impact. Ooh. So I know none of y'all have seen my crochet through, what was it, crochet through time or something like that. In February, I did a Black History project with crochet and fiber artists throughout history who had an impact on, it would have been an amazing essay to write, a really interesting essay to write. And I am what's the word? I'm an academic at heart. I just couldn't do with the school thing at the time. I'll probably go back. But yeah, it was like a video essay in short form, and I pretty much just was going through all of the artists, the things that they did, the Black artists who created things and eventually got known for it. But at the time, obviously, they didn't get credit. Like the Playboy suit was made by a Black woman, and then there were like certain cloths that only Black people could use, but we made it a beautiful thing. Well, specifically Black Americans. My family, I have roots to Black America, but we're not really Black American like that. So Black Americans mainly, and when I say that, because sometimes people are getting upset, especially on YouTube, so I just have to preface this. My grandma's dad is the only bloodline American in my family, and now my mom and my grandma. But my mom's dad is Dominican. My grandma's dad, or my grandma's mom, is from the Bahamas, and my great grandfather is the only one with two American parents. So anyway, because that'd be a whole thing on Twitter and YouTube. So yeah, the impact that Black Americans had in what was it, quilting, the way they would put certain designs in quilting. So I could see the correlation between people not understanding the connection between crochet and its artistic impact over time. However, so many fabrics had to start from somewhere. Like a lot of fabrics, before they were being able to be made with a machine, somebody was sitting there putting two pieces of thread together and making an amazing piece of material. Something else that has died today because we're so used to printing on things. This is like knitted. It was absolutely made with a machine though. This material, this fabric. It feels so much different, and a lot of us have never even felt well real cloth from somebody who put it together. We don't even know what that feels like, is what I'm saying. A lot of this is going to die out. We just having so many computers. Handiwork in and of itself is dying. Doing things with your hand, knowing how to do stuff with your hand is dying. And we're going to be so air fried, done, finished. We're going to be so confused. We won't be able to do anything for ourselves. What was that, Wally? Yeah, they were right on the money, because the way most people can't do things for themselves, can't identify food, and then we complain about things not being available to us. We don't know how to identify things that are out there for us. We didn't learn a lot of stuff, and now we turn around and we're angry. But when you are somebody who doesn't know things, you're going to be angry a lot. Ignorance makes you upset. I don't know how else to tell people that, but ignorance makes you upset. And not understanding how much work goes into making a crochet project, making fabric in and of itself before machineries, computers were even a thing, is a lot of reason why people don't understand why you want so much money for something that they see as invaluable. They already see it as something that a computer could do, or a machine could do, and has been doing their entire life. Why should they pay you anything just because you wanted to sit around and learn how to do something that can be made with a machine from scratch? Like, you get what I mean? People don't that connection is being lost. Is undermined. There's a lack of education, and its invisible cultural impact is doing a lot to stifle people into spending more money with artists because they think they're spending this money with hobbyists. Not every person who does a craft sees it as a hobby. I take this very serious. It's a myth that crochet material is cheap. Like, yarn is very cheap. I've had people leave comments on my YouTube and they're like, "Oh, you make clothes with trash," talking about yarn. Which honestly, I thought it was kind of funny, because even if I did make clothes with trash, that is so innovative. Go clean. But I noticed some people see yarn as just like it's trash. When they spend money, they think that luxury clothes are made with luxury material. But the truth is, to make a material luxury, the stitch count is what matters. The stitch count, not the material itself. How many stitches you put in that material will make it feel different. That's what I mean. The difference between printing something, making it with a machine, and making it with your hands. I can control how I want something to feel with the same bit of yarn. I can make this same yarn feel different if I use the smaller needle. It'll look more expensive. Like, I feel like I'm preaching to the choir, and the choir is me. I'm just talking to myself and I'm reiterating myself. But this is my last point, and then I'm gonna go ahead and head off of here. Undervaluing of labor overall. And I could go off on a tangent about that one. Undervaluing labor at all. People think that most people are supposed to be working harder instead of smarter. Work if oh, don't be lazy. You need to be ready to work. Go out there and work, 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 work. Everybody's so obsessed with work right now. The thing with crochet, it is a lot of um work, and it is fun work. It's enjoyable work. They don't think that work should be enjoyable. Um I think that's why a lot of crocheters have a hard time valuing themselves as well, because they had a good time making it. They did not enjoy it, so it's nothing that they made it. So here you go, you can just have it. I don't know what comes first. Like, what's the chicken, what's the egg? Is it you undervaluing yourself and then you talking about it as if it was nothing to make, and of course I'm basically gonna give it to you for free. And then, grandmas always gave crochet stuff for free. So what I look like asking you for any money? It could be a mix of that, and with people seeing you as somebody who's supposed to be doing the labor for them in this way. Especially, you're supposed to be doing domestic labor, not just for me, but just in general. Like, that's just what you're supposed to be doing. Of course you had a good time creating that crochet piece. You're supposed to. You're supposed to make a house a home. That's what you do. Yeah, I'm here to let y'all know that if you are a crochet artist who has a hard time pricing yourself, I need you to understand that it is bigger than you. I wish I could remember what exactly made me learn that. Oh, you know what? It was when I started doing the math of how many pieces I could possibly make within a week, and how much money that would make me within a month and then a year. And it's unlivable, the amount. And then how many customers you would have to have All of that matters, and it has to be realistic. If you're not realistically getting 10 to 15 customers spending at least 100 to $150 every month, that's it. It really don't take that much. 10 to 15 people, $150 every month. And then you can have your little side thing, like your social media or something. I don't know. You do the math and see how much that makes you in a year. Is it enough to live off of? And are you going to be on food stamps? Yes, you are. You're going to be struggling. You're going to be hungry. Something is going to not be there. Either you're going to be homeless, you're going to be living in your car, or you're going to not have a car, or you're not going to have insurance, or you're not going to be able to go on excursions. You're not going to be able to go on vacation. Whatever the case may be, just because you enjoy the craft does not mean it has to be basically free. Does not mean that. I don't know what kind of um what kind of thought process has to go into. I think that's a higher self esteem thing. When you value yourself high, it's hard to accept somebody else valuing you low, not giving you the value that you've already given yourself. So maybe that is what it is. I did have a low self esteem when I first started doing crochet. I did use crochet to make me less depressed. I just was sitting at home all the time. And crochet was something else to do with my hands that would keep me from thinking about ending my situation on a regular basis. Does that sound sad? It was. And I was as well. But we're better these days. We're better these days. I look back on it and I'm just so grateful that that's not who I am anymore. However, I did have a low self-esteem when I first started doing crochet. So I would accept whatever people was willing to give me because I felt like, I mean, this isn't even what I want to do. I mean, I guess I just made it. I'm going to have a lot of trash all over the place. I had all of those thoughts before I started taking it as a business. And you know what? If you don't take it as a business and this is just fun for you, that is fine. Do that. Sell it to your friends and family. They got a hookup. Them though. Let them know that is them and they got a hookup. And then let them know also how much work goes into it and how you're doing it because you love them. But yeah, if when I first started out, I never wanted to make this a business. Still to this day, I could charge like a couple dollars here and there to do a little favor for my friend. But as somebody who is seeing this as a long-term career option, on top of having to do classes, having 10 to 15 customers is a lot of customers. That's spending $150 on what? Most people don't want to spend $100 on anything except a full-blown dress, which takes me 2 to 3 days. So I would not be able to do anything. 2 to 3 days, 15 customers is 30 days. That's actually 30, maybe 25 days because I said 2 to 3. So it's just not fiscally possible. Long term, as a career, as a business, if people keep undervaluing the skill of crochet and anticipating what the price will be, and other crochet artists lowering the value of themselves until we can fix all of those factors and say, okay, crochet, what I charge for myself, if you are watching this as a potential crochet entrepreneur, I charge $20 an hour for me. So anything that I do is $20 an hour because that's how much I am. I'm $20 an hour. That sounds like crochet institution, but it is. $20 an hour is what I charge. So if something only took me 20 minutes, I'm not going to say, well, now it's $20. No, it's not. It didn't take me an hour. I value that in every way that I can. I do have a problem though when I reach beyond $200, even though it's honest. That is how long it took me to make the project. I try to take, I try to, um, take it down a couple pegs, but I stopped doing that probably for like a couple weeks and I'm back on that. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm not going to lie to you. You go forward. Sometimes you take 3 steps forward and 2 steps back. It is what it is. As long as I'm acknowledging the issue, I'll be all right. I'll work on it. But yeah, I charge $20 an hour for myself. So for example, I started adding little jewelry, trinkets. Well, this was my very first bracelet. So not only do I anticipate this is gonna pop, it's so small. I'm an extra small and it's still small on me. It's missing some beads. So yeah, this probably took me 10 minutes. So if I charge $20 an hour, I'm gonna divide however long it took me to make those. And I have some more here. Making this pin. All of these things are drying. I got these bracelets with what's it called on them? What's these called? Zodiacs on them. And all of those took me about 11 minutes to make. I'm going to charge appropriately. Uh, and with the price of material. So the material, each one of them probably cost me like $1 to make. One, maybe even less, like 75 cents. So all of that will go into account when I'm doing pricing for those before I do my vending events. But yeah, I made 30 minutes. I feel like I talked about everything that I wanted to talk about. I appreciate all of you guys being in here. Thank you, YouTube. I hate TikTok. And I don't care about y'all. But thanks for being here. Let me go ahead and end them quickly. I do hate TikTok. Between the platform and the people that be on there, I don't know what's worse. But they will go out their way to make sure they comments on all of your things on every platform, which I do appreciate. Thanks, fan. So until next time, y'all. Congratulations to the winners of my giveaway. I'm gonna email y'all. So the winners again were in first place. We had G Pierre. Thank you so much. First place. Your wife is gonna love that, or you're gonna love that when you get a nice warm beanie. Second place, Divi. You get a good discount. I think I said 50, 25 and 15, something like that. And then I have Jonah. Jonah, you get the $15. It's better than nothing, and I hope you guys use it. Even though you get free things on my website and I lose out, when I tell you I have so much stuff. This is just my fashion show stuff that's always sitting up here, and I add to it, take away from it. I just made this, and I just moved this from in my closet to add some more stuff. The space, guys, the space is such an issue. I need to sell everything that I have. Everything that I have needs to be sold. So I'm making a bunch of jewelry that I'm going to start adding to my vendor events. I've been nervous to do my vendor events because I feel like I don't have enough stuff to set out. Like I only have crochet stuff, which duh. However, sometimes people will see exactly how much it costs. This is what we're talking about. People will see how much it costs, and then they'll just start to be like, oh, okay, this is an expensive place. And then they'll take their broke ass energy somewhere else, which is cool. But like I said, these will be very affordable, and it's no skin off my teeth. I don't give a fuck about bracelets. I'm not gonna hold you. I don't. I don't care that I made them. I don't care that you like or don't like them. It's a bracelet. This is my art. This is my craft. This is my baby. This is who I love. All of these, if they sell or don't sell, is no problem to me. What it is getting people to my table to say, oh, okay, she has other things. It'll have them going through stuff. My table won't look empty, like my booth itself won't look like nobody is checking me out. They're not checking for me. Sometimes when you sell art, people will just look at the stuff that you sold. Maybe they're an artist too, and they're looking at how you did it. They have some questions. Ask me anything, because you're standing here and that looks great for other people who might be interested. Oh, why they standing over there? Let's see what's going on. That's what I need. Thank you, babe. So I'm learning a lot from the lady that I told y'all about a couple weeks ago, who was awfully mean. She knows she's mean, but yeah, she's awful. She's also teaching me stuff about how to make money regardless of what's selling at your booth. I know a lot of young people have this issue where they like so unbothered. But the fact of the matter is you have to follow the beat of other people's drums. I don't care what you're talking about. That you so stiff. Oh, I ain't got to be like that. I'm different. I ain't got to take none of that with me. I ain't Yes, you do. If you are an entrepreneur, is this on? If you're an entrepreneur, the way that the general public feels, whether it's about you or everything, matters. You're doing a public service. And this be y'all's problem. Turn this up. This be y'all's problem. You want to have a business just to say that you are a boss. But the problem is, most of the world is your boss because you have to do what they say. The customers always getting on my nerves. Yes, but the customer's always right. Exactly. It doesn't mean that they know what they're talking about. It means yes and. That's what that means, okay? You're not an entrepreneur just to have nobody boss you around because that's cap. All right, and now I'm finished. All right, thank you guys. A shout out to the winners for second and third place. And until next time, whenever that will be, peace. Love you. Bye.